Hey guys, Shikai Ferrari here, hope you're doing well to who's watching this video. I was going to put this in my how they could do it video, but I thought it was deserving of its own video. It's basically my ideas for new hunters, which I hope Turtle Rock are going to do more of, because that'd be pretty sweet. I was trying to think of a new monster, but I really can't think of any good ideas at the moment. Maybe that can be a future video, we'll see. But yeah, here's my ideas, I hope you enjoy. So to start us off, how the trapper would be able to track the monster, I got the idea of monster traps. So basically the hunter has a device that connects to the ship, and it shoots down these monster sized bear traps to the location where the hunter is looking. Basically how Hank's orbital strike works. When the monster traps hit the ground, there's a 5-second delay until a cloaking system comes online, and then the trap is completely invisible. So before you say, well, that sounds OP because the monster won't be able to see it, I've got a solution for that. So basically, most of the trap is invisible to the monster except for a small flashing beacon that shows an online connection to the hunter's device. It's basically the same how you can see Griffin's spikes when you use smell. You see it come up in red. It'd be the same for this. You see a small flashing beacon, like pulsating beacon, and it's red. So that means there's a bear trap there. But obviously before all that, if you were the monster and you were in a good position, you'd see the trap come down from orbit and where it's been placed before it gets cloaked, so you can just avoid it completely. When the monster steps on the trapper is alerted that it has been set off by the monster. The monster takes damage and is held in place until the monster destroys the trap by hitting it 3 times. Once destroyed, they are highlighted for 10 seconds. So like Griffin, it's best to have the minimap up with this trapper so you know what trap's been set off. Onto the trapper's weapon. I was thinking it could be a powerful bolt shot hunting rifle, so this trapper would be good at medium to long range. So lastly, the secondary gadget I thought of would be a net gun for this trapper. So when it hits the monster, it slows it down, and the more the monster moves, the slower it gets. But obviously the monster can get out of it by hitting and using abilities to get out of it faster. So the idea I had for the support and the main ability that can help the team out would be a grenade they throw, and when it goes off it creates a bubble shield so anyone inside it doesn't take damage. So this grenade would be a deployable for the support, and obviously for balancing issues it would have low health so you couldn't stand there for very long. So with the additional 3 you can kind of jump to 1 just as the one you're inside is failing, and it can fit I'd say at least 2-3 hunters inside. The support's main weapon, I think it should be one you can charge up, so the longer it's charged it does more damage to the monster, like a cannon sort of weapon. So the support's secondary ability, I've had quite a think about this one, just something that's different from any other support's ability. And the one thing I could think of was a wildlife deterrent, so you basically throw this other type of grenade down and it makes all the wildlife in the area run away from it, basically releases like pheromones or something. Even the megamouths and armadons and all stuff like big ones run away from it basically, because multiple times been trapped in a dome where the monsters deliberately led us into big wildlife and they basically completely destroy us. So one art support that can basically make them go away, basically get away from the area. So I thought that's quite an interesting secondary ability for a support to have, a new one. So with the medic's first ability, I mainly got the idea from Bucket's UAV. So you can control a drone that beam heals hunters like the med gun. The medic would have to be in a safe spot to use the drone safely. If you're hit while using it, the drone's destroyed. So the drone won't run out of power like Bucket's UAVs, but instead it has little health, so the monster has to destroy it to stop the medic healing people up. But it can also do one more thing, which I will explain in the second ability segment. So the medic's main weapon I think should be a compound bow with explosive arrow tips. I mean, who doesn't love bow and arrows? You'd be able to charge this up, and the longer charge the more damage it would do to the monster. And lastly, the secondary ability idea I had would be an electrical healing shield. You can only put this on one hunter at a time, so you would have to wait for the ability to refill to be able to put it on someone else. You can't cast it on yourself, by the way. And here's the extra drone thing I mentioned back in the first section. When controlling the drone, you can also cast it on a hunter. So you have the option to cast it by hand or cast it by drone, basically. How the ability would work is when you cast it on someone, if they are getting hit by the monster, their health goes up, and the monster gets a bit of damage reflected back onto it. So choosing wisely is key, as the monster could just ignore the person you've put it on and go for another one, like you. But having the advantage of the drone, you can just hide yourself away and then move to the next person you want to cast it on when available, and then do it as just as they're getting attacked, and that's a nasty surprise for the monster to have to change their strategy. I would say that the shield would also have a time limit, as I think it would be a bit unfair to have it constantly on the hunter and then just switch it to another one and just have it on there forever, basically. So lastly, the assault, and this was a really tough one to think about, but I think I've got something. So for the first ability, I thought of remote C4. So you could place one huge bulk of C4 anywhere on the map, and it does pretty good damage against the monster. The monster can see it, but only while using smell, not by vision. And here's the new thing I've added to it just to make it different and not just basically want to mark all his mines, but you can set it off remotely. If the monster is hit, they are affected by a debuff for a certain amount of time. It reduces the armor gained from eating wildlife. So a sloth is 4 slots, it would go down to 2, and a reaver wouldn't be hardly worth anything, so I think you get the picture. So it would be a little bit difficult to pull this one off, but once you did, it'd be a nice advantage for the hunters, and especially at stage 3. The assault's main weapon, just for the sheer awesomeness of how it would look, I was thinking a 44 Magnum. It increases reload speeds the more you hit the monster, and if you miss, it basically starts from the beginning. And lastly, the secondary ability I thought would be another weapon like Parnell. It would be a 50 cal sniper rifle. It would be really slow at firing and reloading, but it only does health damage, and the more you hit the monster, the more the damage is increased. So a long range assault, which I don't think we have yet, so I think that would be pretty sweet with Magnum close range and sniper rifle at long range. So that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know what you think about my list, but I'd love to know what you guys make if you've got a list in mind, or just for a single hunter. I think they're really fun to discuss. So yeah, leave a like, comment and subscribe if you want, and I'll see you guys later.